ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ना नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं वृजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपीशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतलक्ष्मीतरवनाथ स्वामी नाम्ने नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतलक्ष्मी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नाम्ने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्। हरे कृष्ण. So we are discussing, or rather continuing the discussion of the beautiful pastimes of Lord Ramachandra in the ninth canto. In the ninth canto, as part of the descendants of Vaivasvat Manu, across various personalities like King Raghu, King Aja, King Nabhi, and so many others. King Ikshvaku, of course, all descendants of Ikshvaku. Finally, we have come to the son of Dasharath, Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan, the most illustrious personality who appeared in the Surya Vamsh. Chapters 10, 11, and 12 are dedicated to the pastimes of Ramachandra. In our last class, we began this discussion and we covered roughly half of this chapter, and today we intend to complete the remaining half of this chapter. If you recollect, the last time when we started discussing this particular chapter, this chapter begins by Shukadev Goswami telling Parikshit Maharaj that you have heard this pastimes of Ramchandra so much, so I am going to explain to you in very brief. So many of the prominent pastimes, or much of the vast majority of the Ramayana, are briefly hinted at with few words only. And practically a quick, almost like a trailer of Ramayana has been given. It's like a three-hour movies. The trailer is barely 1 minute. So very, very quick, small, key milestones, key glorious pastimes are hinted at. Various key characters are hinted at. In our last class, we came to that point in the narration of Ramachandra's pastimes where Ramachandra finally manages to do Vadha of Ravana. In Hindi, there is this beautiful Hindi and Sanskrit. There is this beautiful word Vadha. That's the beauty of the Sanskrit language is there are perfect words for perfect context. It is not that Ramchandra simply murdered or killed. Vadha means somebody who deserves to be punished and he's eliminated. Vad is Vad. So two things happened. One is as soon as Ravana was finished. And how was Ravan finished? Very smartly. Ramchandra first chopped off his heads, but his heads kept coming back again and again. Finally, when hinted at by Vibhishan, Vibhishan told him, my lord, this is not going to work. You know, but I'm still telling you as part of Leela. It's not that the Lord doesn't know. Let me inform you because you want it to be like that in the past time. There's an Amrit Kalash in his Navi. So you have to destroy that Amrit Kalash. Then only he can die. So Lord Ramchandra invoked the Brahmastra. It penetrated his navel. It destroyed the Amrit Kalash first, probably vaporized. And then he fell down on the ground. That's a very interesting description. Ravana falling down from his flying chariot. Ravana's chariot was drawn by donkeys. Very interesting. Anyone remembers which chariot Lord Ramchandra was using? Recollects from our last class.
It's sent from Indra Prabhuji. I don't exactly recall the name.
Yeah, Indra's chariot. Driven by who's the charioteer of Indra?
I think that I don't remember. Sorry.
Okay, anyone remembers? Matali. Matali is the chariot driver of Indra. So, when Ravan was fighting with a chariot and Ramachandra Bhagavan was on foot, Indra came and gave his chariot. Anyway, so there was this beautiful fight. Finally, Ravan was killed. This we discussed already last time. And all the queens of Ravana, headed by Mandodari, they all came running out, gathered around the corpse of Ravana and were wailing and crying loudly. Even though, being a chaste wife, Mandodari was totally besides herself, overwhelmed with grief, because Mandodari was very, very wise. In her lamentation, she did not blindly curse and chastise Ramchandra. She did not. Unlike in Krishna Leela, how Gandhari, after her own whole Kuru Vansha was destroyed, she blamed Krishna. You are the cause of the problem. So your one will also be destroyed. Was that the right thing to do? What was Krishna's fault in this? None. But Krishna always sees what can be used in what way, and Krishna had a particular pastime to perform. He just demand and supply, connected demand and supply. I said, okay, let it happen like this. But that is not an appreciated behavior. Blaming the Supreme Lord, especially after the Lord had gone to such great lengths to settle the matter. Personally, anyway, if I go in that direction, I will not be able to discuss anything else. But we know that pastime. But here Mandodari, she is lamenting, saying, "Oh Ravan, who is the cause of your Durgati? You yourself." She was wise. Ravan, you made everyone else cry. Those who make others cry throughout their life, ultimately they end up crying. That's the law of karma. Whatever you send out, the same will come back in due course, if not immediately. Huh? The mills of God grind slow, but grind exceedingly fine. Everything comes back. And that's why those who are wise are very, very careful of every deed, every word, and also every thought. Even though thought is not punished in Kali Yuga, but if thought is not controlled, eventually thought will lead to word, word will lead to action. So better to clip it off in the beginning. Anyway, so that's a wonderful example of Mandodari. Even though she was chaste, she was devoted, she was a well-wisher of Ravan, rightly so being a chaste wife, she never lost sight of Dharma. She always advised him correctly. She chastised him why he was after Sita Devi, how it was so wrong to do that. And she squarely blamed Ravan's situation, which means his ultimate death, on Ravan himself, that he was so cruel, he did such big mistakes. Anyway, so that pastime happened. Ramachandra and Vanar Sena showed great respect to all the ladies in Ravana's camp, including the queens. Lord Ramachandra installed Vibhishan as the king and he instructed him. In fact, Lord Ramachandra had won. He could have become the king of Lanka. In one sense, Lanka was more prosperous, purely from a material perspective, even than Ayodhya, Swarna Lanka. But Lord Ramachandra had promised Vibhishan, I will make you king. And he gave the entire kingdom to Vibhishan. And blessed him. May you rule this kingdom for one kalpa. Wow. One kalpa. You know what is one kalpa? One kalpa is one day of Brahma. Very interesting. Very interesting. So after this episode, Lord Ramachandra goes into Lanka to release Sita Devi. Sita Devi, of course, is not bound, but she is sitting alone in the in that forest grove where she was imprisoned, and a very beautiful meeting between Sri Sita Devi and Ramachandra happened, and Ramachandra was actually pained to see how Sita Devi's body had become so emaciated in separation from Sita Devi, of course, was so joyous. She was sitting under a tree named Sim Sapa tree in the Ashoka forest. And when she saw Ramachandra, she became so exceedingly happy. As you said, her lotus mouth bloomed with joy. So there was this very, very sweet meeting between Sita Devi and Ramachandra. We discussed also last time briefly how actually if Sita Devi wanted, she could have finished the matter long back. First of all, Sita Devi herself was never personally captured. A Maya Sita was taken away by Ravana. That is one. But in any case, Sita Devi is so powerful, being the Adi Shakti, she could have easily destroyed Ravan effortlessly. But the Lord wants to enact a particular Leela. Even when Hanumanji came to Lanka and he met Sita Devi and he introduced himself. I am ID card. Where's your ID card? How come I know you are Ramadut? Showed where's the ID card? Lord Ramachandra's ring. She recognized. So Sita, Hanumanji said, "Oh, Mother Sita, please, uh, you know, come, I will take you back right away. Let us finish the matter." And Sita Devi told Hanuman, "Arey, you are such a small in size. How are you going to fight with everyone and go across? Huh? Mother, you don't know my strength, my power." Hanumanji became huge in size. See, Mother, how powerful am I? Can easily take. I can defeat all the Rakshasas and take it. Actually, in her heart, Sita didn't want to go because she didn't want to spoil the pastime, but she didn't want to tell it like that to Hanuman. Huh? So Hanumanji became so big. Then Sita was thinking, oh, now what excuse should I give him? No, 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 okay, you can defeat all the demons. But if I sit on your back, how am I going to go? You sit on my back, I'll take you. No, no, if I sit on your back, we'll be going over the ocean. Then I look down, my head will start reeling. Then I will slip off your back, I will fall into the water. Then Hanumanji says, oh, Mother, you are the daughter of the ocean. Huh? Don't tell me you are scared of the ocean. Because who's Sita Devi? Sita Devi is Lakshmi Devi. Lakshmi Devi is born from the ocean only. She came out right when the milk ocean was churned. Ah, you're trying to trick me. Eh? I know you are daughter of the ocean. You are not afraid. Then she's thinking what to tell him, what to tell him. Okay, okay. No, no, you are Parapurush. How can I, I touch your body? You are Parapurush. So, she says, oh, Mother, you are my mother. I'm your son. So what is the fault? I will take your marriage. So, you know, these kind of very sweet arguments went on. Ultimately, Sita Devi told him, go and tell Ramachandra that I am waiting for him to come. The right honor for Ramachandra will be to come, destroy Ravana, and take me back with honor. That is the script, Baba. Don't spoil the script. We have come to perform these pastimes so that all these interesting things will happen. So these beautiful pastimes of the Lord are not enacted out of influence of material nature, forced by karma, even though sometimes some of these things may appear as, you know, uncontrollable circumstances through the arrangement of Daiva. God is the controller of all controllers. What is there for him? The Lord wants to play out his pastimes in such an interesting way that all of us will be eager to hear and discuss about those pastimes, so that through those pastimes our hearts will get attracted to him, and also through those beautiful pastimes the Lord demonstrates the culture of devotion and the beautiful relationship that he has with his devotees. So anyway, Sita Devi was finally united with Ramachandra. Actually, it is said the original Sita Devi came back to Ramachandra only after Ramachandra asked Sita Devi to undergo the fire test, Agni Pariksha. It is said, now all these things are not mentioned here, but just to relish the beautiful Ram Leela pastimes. It is said the original Sita Devi, when the Lakshman Rekha was drawn, Agni Dev transferred the original Sita Devi and replaced her with a Maya Sita, who was stolen by Ravan. And where the original Sita went, original Sita Devi was taken to Kailas, and she and Parvati, who are very good friends, were having a good time together. two very, very wonderful chaste ladies, two goddesses. Both are our original mothers. One is the original mother of the material world, one is the original mother of the spiritual world. Both are Jagadamba. Right? One is the internal energy, one is the external energy. Energy is one, but she takes different forms for the manifestation of either spiritual pastimes or for the manifestation of the material world. So they are very good friends. In fact, even Lord Hari and Lakshmi Devi himself and Lord Shiva and Parvati. I was mentioning this in some classes. So many times there are so many references in Shastra and Puranas that they went to each other's home and they, were sitting down having meals with each other, laughing and talking, and in so many pastimes, in so many contexts, these stories have been mentioned. Numerous times. So very interesting. So this is a part of Grihastha culture. To go to each other's homes. Dadati pratigrinnati guhyam akhyati prachati bhunte bhojayate chaiva. Feeding the guests, accepting prasad, having sweet discussions on Krishna Leela. Of course, when they get together, they don't discuss cricket, IPL, Bengal elections and all that. They all discuss about the welfare of all living entities. So anyway, Sita Devi was returned when the Agni Pariksha happened. Again, the Maya Sita was taken away and the original Sita was returned. So all these beautiful pastimes happened. They are just hinted here. Ramchandra was extremely happy to have Sita back. And the whole reason this whole pastime was performed because Ramchandra wanted to experience the Vipralamba Rasa. Vipralamba Rasa. The rasa of separation. Sometimes some people feel, oh, Ramchandra and Sita Devi, they were just married. They had to be in Vanvas. Who had a more difficult life than Rama and Sita? For us, it appears like that. One of the explanations the Acharyas give is, Sita and Ram loved each other so much. Now, I'll not go into the details of that pastime, but the first time Ramchandra sees Sita Devi, he is so attracted to her. And when she sees him, she is so attracted because they are eternally the divine couple. When Sita and Ramchandra get married and come to Ayodhya, Sita Devi and Ramchandra want to spend a lot of time together. Young, newly married couple. Very natural that they want some privacy. They just want to spend some time together with each other. But very difficult to do that in Ayodhya. Why? Why very difficult to do in Ayodhya? You know why? Because Sita Devi had three mother-in-laws. Three mother-in-laws. So cannot get any privacy with Ramchandra. Ramchandra has three brothers. Have three mother-in-laws. Her three sisters are also there. All three everywhere. Where to get private time with Ramchandra? So Sita and Ram are thinking, how can we spend some sweet moments together? Have some transcendental romantic pastimes together. Here it doesn't seem to be possible. So this whole Leela was orchestrated by the Lord. This whole Vanvas thing. Why the whole idea was, why don't I and you, means Sita and Ramchandra, let's go to the forest. We'll be there in the forest. Just you and me. And just to assist us, let us take Lakshman along. So, at least we don't get busy in all the other things. Then, at least Lakshman will, take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. And it said Lakshman would always have his head down, so he wouldn't be seeing what is going on. Lakshman, in fact, would say that I only know how the toenails of Sita Devi look like. You know that beautiful pastime? When Sita Devi's jewelry fell down from the Viman of Ravana when Sita Devi was kidnapped. And Ramachandra recovered those in his search. He showed he showed Lakshman, see, this is the earrings of Sita Devi. I don't know. This is the necklace of Sita Devi. I've never seen it. This is the toe ring of Sita. Yeah, this one I know. Toe ring I know. Toe ring means on the feet. The married ladies wear, a ring, the second toe. This one I know. Ramchandra asked, how come you don't know this and you know this? You are with us all the time. No, as far as Mother Sita is concerned, I always only look at her feet. I don't look at her above the feet. So I know her toenail. I know the toe ring, but I don't know about her other ornaments. So Sita and Ram had wonderful time in the in the various beautiful forests, in Dandakaranya, in Chitrakoot. The Chitrakoot pastimes are considered like the Braj Leela equivalent. It's like Radha and Krishna have sporting pastimes in Braj. Sita Ram in Chitrakoot is considered the epitome of the Madhurya Leela of Shri Shri Sita Ram. After having enjoyed so much wonderful association with each other, Ramchandra said, now let us experience some separation also. The Lord is Rasraj. The Lord wants to experience all kinds of experiences. Isn't it? That's the whole purpose of why the Lord Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishtan Nana Makaro Bhuvaneshu Kintu. Lord expands into so many forms and so many pastimes because he's unlimitedly tasting various kinds of spiritual experiences in the association of his expansions and his devotees. So this whole pastime was manifested. The kidnapping of Sita and Ramchandra experiencing Vipralamba Rasa and experiencing the Sattvika Bhavas, Sanchari Bhavas in absence of Sita Devi. So why we are saying all this is, while there is an external reason why Lord Ramchandra is performing his Leela, which is Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Yes, that is also true. He came to kill Ravan, that also true. He came to establish dharma, show his Leela as Maryada Purushottam, give all the teachings, also true. But the Lord accomplishes so many things when he performs his Leela in the same go. Correct? Just like sometimes some of us will go on a business trip abroad. Let's say we go on a business trip to Switzerland. So if we go, I'm going for 1 week to Switzerland for a business work trip. Let me take my wife along. During the day, I will do work. During the evening, we will go sightseeing. We'll have some nice time together roaming around. One, there is an external purpose of why we have gone to Switzerland. One, there is an internal purpose. Internal purpose is not known to everybody. And internally, what is happening is not known to everybody. Externally, yeah. I'm here for business. So, when the Lord performs his pastimes, he has so many purposes that he serves. So, these are some of the internal nuances which great acharyas have revealed. I've heard this from devotees. These are not speculations. I don't know who specifically has given these, which acharyas have mentioned these specific points, but I've heard these from the likes of Gaurang Prabhu and others. So I know that they are very authentic understandings revealed by great realized souls. So we accept them as such. So of course, none of what I just described in the last 10 minutes is described in these pages, but I am trying to share some of these very beautiful points. So for the Lord, from the Lord's perspective, it's all Leela, it's all play. It's all very wonderful. The Lord cries also, it is ecstasy. The Lord laughs also, it's ecstasy. The Lord gets angry also, he's doing his Leela. Just experiences of different rasas by the Lord. Anyway, so after giving kingdom to Vibhishan, Sita Devi comes back. Sita, Ram, Hanuman, Lakshman, Sugriva, they all come back to Ayodhya. So there's another pastime mentioned here. Here in this particular verse, in verse 32, there's just a brief mention that Hanuman also came with them. But there's a very sweet pastime. The Lord Ramachandra very quickly wanted to go back because the 14 years was getting over and he had vowed that Bharat, I will come back in 14 years. And Bharat said, if you don't come, even one day extra, I will jump into fire and kill myself. So it is said, the Pushpaka Viman, Rupa translates as the airplane decorated with flowers. It was not as fast as Hanuman. So the Lord sent Hanuman ahead. Pushpak Airlines and Hanuman Airlines is faster. So Hanuman, you go quickly. Since there is no WhatsApp, no SMS, you become my SMS. Quickly go. Hanuman was going very fast. Pushpak was coming slowly behind. But Hanuman was realizing my speed is also not enough to reach. And Bharat Maharaj was getting ready to enter fire. One moment more and I will enter. He had vowed. He was just about to enter fire. So when Hanuman realized, I may be a few moments late. So what he did, even as he was flying at top speed, Hanumanji shouted loudly, Ram is coming. So he was hoping at least the sound will reach before he will reach. Actually, sorry, he doesn't say Ram is coming. I think he says coming is Ram, something like that. He uses the words in a different way because he doesn't want a chance that he hears the first word, but he doesn't know what has happened to Ram. So he wants the word coming to go first, something like that. Something sweet. I forgot all the details. So anyway, so the words reach Bharat and he starts looking. Meanwhile, Hanuman lands and one says, please stop. Ramachandra is on the way. Airlines along. Coming en route, please prepare for landing. So the whole Ayodhya, all the princes, the whole kingdom and all the ministers and everyone. So there's a very beautiful long description in the rest of the chapter. It's all about how Lord Ramachandra was received and how he was treated. Almost 10-15 verses. Can you imagine? Most of the pastimes are mentioned in 1 or 2 words. Lord Ram's return to Ayodhya and his beautiful interaction, half of this chapter is taken. And one of the reasons why we can understand that may have been done is the same principle that we find in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is that in the detailed dealings between the Lord and his devotees, the principles of devotional service and the Vaishnav culture are all visible for all of us to learn. If you simply focus on the plot of the story, it may be exciting. But what we are interested in learning is not just which weapon it was killed, what was the boon, all that is okay, nice. It attracts us to the pastimes. But as devotees, we want to learn the nuances of these sweet dealings. And that is why some of these points that I'm just mentioning now is so that that nuance is understood. Because bhakti is in the detail. Radhanath Maharaj so often mentions bhakti is in the detail. How attentive we are in terms of details in serving the Lord is an expression of our love. We just do something, ho gaya, Lord, take this. It's like I ticked, I did. If we are in so much detail, we prepare something so nicely, we decorate nicely, put a very nice. We are so detailed about everything, how the plate is kept, how the vessel is kept, how the every pakoda is placed, how all the gulab jams are placed in the katori, how the tulsi is nicely placed, how the spoon is laid out, how the water glass is placed. When we pay all the attention to details, that becomes an expression of love. So I'll go through some of the points, which is the remaining part of the chapter. The Lord, when he arrived, the Lord was showered with beautiful, fragrant flowers. All the residents of Ayodhya. It is said at that time, even the Devatas had gathered in the skies. Lord Brahma and the Devatas were also singing beautiful praises, glorifying the Lord. As soon as Lord Ramachandra reached, he came to know a very painful fact. What was that painful fact? He came to know what Bharat had hid from him. All this while, Ramachandra was thinking, Bharat has agreed and he is ruling Ayodhya. But he did not know, and this is very explicitly mentioned here, what Bharat was doing. He had taken his slippers, put them on the Singhasan, and Lord Ram's slippers were ruling, while Bharat decided to not stay in Ayodhya but stay in Nandigram. In Nandigram, he dug a hole in the ground. I think it was a cowshed or something that he was staying in. The Bhagavatam mentions the only thing Bharat Maharaj, he didn't consider himself Maharaj, he was considering himself as a representative of Ram's Paduka and executing governance on behalf of Ramchandra. It is said the only thing Bharat ate for 14 years was barley cooked in cow urine. Can you imagine? Barley cooked in gomutra. He didn't wear any fancy clothes. He didn't wear a cloth at all. All he had was a bark of tree to cover himself. Matted hair. No bed. Just lying on kusha grass. When Ramchandra came to know of the kind of hardships Bharat had subjected himself voluntarily out of love, the Lord felt so much love and affection for him. At the same time, of course, he was feeling pained. He felt so much love. Bharat, when he came to know that the Lord had landed, he ran. He took the sandals of Ramachandra and ran towards the place where the Lord had landed. Bharat came along with all the ministers and priests and all the respectable citizens and everyone. There was big musical instruments being performed. The Brahmanas were singing beautiful Vedic hymns. In fact, it said the whole town was decorated with lamps. That is where Diwali, the day Lord Ramchandra landed. The soldiers lined up dressed in golden armor. A lot of beautiful descriptions are given. There were many servants, there were chamaras, fans, whisks. Huge royal reception. Bharat, with his heart swelling with love and his eyes brimming with tears, approached Ramchandra and fell at his lotus feet in great ecstatic love. He offered Ramchandra his sandals back. Lord Ram embraced Bharat and bathed Bharat's body with his tears. It It is said both were embracing each other for a long time. So somebody was once asking a great saint, how to be a devotee like Bharat Maharaj? How to be a great devotee like Bharat Maharaj? You know what is the answer? Anyone knows how? The answer given by the saintly person was, he cannot become like Bharat Maharaj. These are all the epitome and the pinnacles of devotional service. It's like saying in our case, oh, how we can become like Radharani, how we can become like Lalita and Vishaka. We cannot. We can only aspire to become the servant of their servants of their servants, even in our perfectional state. Those are positions which are for the Lord's expansions and the energetic expansion. These are not, it is not possible. Who can become like Hanuman? Who can become like Bharat? These are examples to be placed on the pedestal and worship so that if we get a drop of their mercy, we will become perfect. One tiny speck. So we are in no competition with any of these perfected personalities. Some are, of course, the Lord's expansion, like Bharat Maharaj is the Lord. He is not a Jiva. So finally, along with Sita, Lakshman, Ramachandra met all the respected citizens, all the elderly people, the Brahmanas. God is the perfect example of Maryada. He didn't just come and say, yes, I'm back, yes. So, perfect etiquette. Offering proper respects to all the Brahmanas, to all the elderly people, with those who are his friends. He embraced them. Those who are younger, he gave them blessings because they offered obeisances. To those who are elder, he offered proper respects. In a beautiful procession, Bharat was still carrying Ramachandra's sandals, and Lord Ramachandra was walking along with Sugriva. Vibhishan was doing the Chamar Seva. Hanuman was carrying a white umbrella. Shatrughna was carrying a bow and two quivers. Sita Devi was carrying a water pot full of water from holy places. Angad was carrying a sword. Jambavan was carrying a golden shield. In this way, all of them were very nicely assembled on the Pushpaka Viman, where women were singing and wonderful worship was offered to this beautiful gathering. It is said Lord Ramachandra appeared like the Chandra surrounded by various stars and planets. Very, very beautiful scene. I don't know how many of you recollect, this particular beautiful scene has been captured in a very nice painting. Ramachandra returns to Ayodhya. If you don't recollect, later you can Google, you can see. Done by Prabhupada's disciples. Lord Ramachandra offered his respects to Vashishta, Kulaguru. He embraced his friends. His younger friends offered him respect. So, such beautiful exchanges. In this way, they all entered the palace of Ayodhya. The three mothers, Kaushalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi, were eagerly waiting. Who can comprehend the kind of pain that they went through? And we discussed the beautiful story of Kaikeyi. Even though she appears like a vamp, the most cruel lady, actually how she was so selfless in what she had done. These are actually very, very difficult services. Very difficult services. What is the most difficult? What is the most difficult service to the Lord? The most difficult service to the Lord is to do great sacrifice and undergo great pain for the service of the Lord and be labeled as a villain for all time to come, despite that. You understand? We do little bit seva, we want the whole world to know. Prabhu, oh, who is better than you? Huh? और तुम्हारे भक्त गणों में हमसे बढ़कर कौन? We want everybody to think, अरे यार, Chandras is such a wonderful person. This is I have done. I have done. Such a strong tendency of glorifying ourselves is there. But those who undergo great sacrifice and are willing to not just take no credit, that is one thing, but rather to be vilified and considered, what to speak of heroes, considered villains. No one will know what your actual role was. Everyone will think you are the villain. Only a small number of devotees, the Lord will give them the understanding to understand. Hey, actually, you know who Kaikeyi is? She is crook number one. So many people are cursing her, giving her bad words. Do you know what pain she went through, Kaikeyi? It is said Bharat rejected her. Bharat did not show her, Kaikeyi, his face, Bharat's own face, until Ramachandra came back. That you did this too. You made Kaushalya not be able to see Ramachandra's face. Now you will not see my face until Lord Ram comes back. So she lost not only Ramachandra, but she also couldn't see the face of her son. But Lord Ramachandra, who is the indwelling super soul, the Paramatma in the heart of all living entities, knows exactly which devotee is going through what and doing what. And we cannot cheat the Lord. We may take sometimes lot of credit, even though we don't deserve. Lord knows exactly what we deserve. And sometimes we may not get any credit after doing a lot. The Lord still exactly knows what we have done. And in his eyes, he values it. Even though it's also not mentioned here, I've heard from Gaurang Prabhu and others that Ramchandra first touched the feet of Kaikeyi, even before he touched the feet of Kaushalya. Because her service was even more difficult than Kaushalya's service. Her sacrifice was even greater. Here it is described that Lord Ramchandra took blessings from all the three mothers. It is said for the mothers, their bodies were almost like dead. Their bodies came back to consciousness on seeing their own children. Ramchandra then, everyone was just waiting when Ram will come back and when he will become king. Lord Ramchandra was bathed, his hair was cleansed, all matted hair, 14 years. Very nicely cleansed, freeing him from all the matted hair. And very nicely decorated and done Abhishek with all the various waters of the auspicious seas and the rivers and the tirthas, much like how Indra is bathed. And after being fully bathed and clean and dressed nicely with garlands and ornaments, Lord Ramchandra, his resplendence was shining in all directions, surrounded by his wife and brothers who were also wonderfully and gorgeously dressed. Surrounded by Bharat, who is the epitome of surrender, Ramachandra accepted the throne of Ayodhya. Sri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki Jai, Raja Rama ki. That is how finally the Lord became the king. It is said Ramachandra Bhagavan, as Raja Ram, cared for his citizens exactly like a father cares for his children. He was perfectly engaged in his duties and he ensured that everyone in his kingdom was also properly engaged in their religious duties according to Varna and Ashram. All the citizens accepted Ramchandra as their father. This is how a king and the subject's relationship is expected according to Shastras. And Ramchandra is the ideal king. That's why his kingdom is ideal kingdom, Rama Rajya. Rama Rajya is considered so perfect, so perfect. Few descriptions are given in these verses itself. It is said even though it was Treta Yuga, when Ramchandra was ruling, the environment of Lord Ramchandra's kingdom, Ayodhya, was as good as Satyayuga. Everyone was perfectly religious, everyone was happy. It is said everyone was executing their duty so perfectly that all the arrangements of material nature were working so perfectly. The forests, the rivers, the hills, the mountains, they were supplying everything. Krishna explains this in the Bhagavad Gita. When people follow their dharmic duties properly, then the devatas are pleased and they bless humankind with all the needs that are necessary for a happy, prosperous, progressive life. Paraspara bhavayantam. Krishna uses this phrase in the Bhagavad Gita. Third chapter. So when dharma is properly followed, and that is why our Shastras emphasize so much. We are trying so hard for happiness, but humankind doesn't have to chase happiness. If they simply chase following their own dharma, happiness will automatically follow. Dharmo rakshati rakshitah. He who protects his dharma is protected by the same. It is said Lord Ramchandra's rule was so perfect that when he was ruling, practically the material world almost started behaving like the spiritual world. What does that mean? None of his subjects, those who were in the Ram Rajya, had any bodily or mental suffering. How is it possible? Is this possible in the material world? Not possible. Only Ram Rajya. No old age, no disease, no death, no fear, no fatigue. It is written. Anybody who did not want to die did not die. So you may be wondering, Prabhu, then how the population would have gone on increasing? No. When the right time came, according to Varnashram duties, the perfected souls in Ram Rajya, meditating on Ramchandra, they would come back to Godhead. They would not die. They would, of course, they were already in spiritual world because they were in Ayodhya, but as part of their dharmic duties, they would come back to Godhead. But no death for those who did not. Ramchandra, another important characteristic mentioned, Ramchandra is also admired for his Eka Patni Vrata. No connection with any other woman. Perfect, good qualities, untinged by anger. We all may display good qualities occasionally, but when circumstances change, our anger, because of frustration, our anger will come out. Lord Ramchandra taught everyone by his personal example how to practice Swadharma perfectly. And in this particular activity, he was aptly supported by Mother Sita, the personification of chastity, who was a very devoted, submissive, faithful, shy, chaste wife who always understood the attitude of her husband and with great love and affection served her husband in such a way that the husband was always happy. And in that way, she always attracted the mind of the Lord, the Lord's love towards her. This is how this particular chapter ends. But the Bhagavatam description of Ram Leela hasn't ended. There are two more chapters. Chapter 11, the next chapter is Ramachandra rules the world. Now Ramachandra has just become the king. Ramachandra will rule the world. A bit more details are given on Ramachandra's Ramarajya, how he ruled the world. So we'll discuss that in the next class. Thank you very much. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman ki jai. So Ramachandra's pastimes are so beautiful. So let us pray to Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman that our hearts also get attracted that we learn from the examples of these great personalities. Bharat, Kaikeyi's unknown devotion, Hanuman's service, Lakshman's great sacrifice and dedication, Sita's chaste, loving, affectionate service, and practically each and every personality. So, such wonderful examples that they may inspire us and guide us in our own journey towards developing loving devotional service. Thanks a lot. So, any questions, comments before we conclude? Yes, Tarun Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, one question on the same line of Ramchandra, Ram Rajya actually. So on the Ram Rajya, when things were so much happy and settled, and nobody was having any kind of issues, then why Lord Rama needs to make Sita go away to to forest? Means that's
Again,
some.
again to
Sorry.
experience Vipralamba Leela. So there are always, like we said, external reasons and internal reasons. So external reasons we know, internal reasons is like this. So we cannot fully fathom the Lord's purpose in all ways. It's actually very, very difficult to understand the Lord's purpose. We have to understand that the transcendental Lord is perfect in his purpose and perfect in why he does what he does. And there may be a million reasons. The published reasons may be one or two. There may be 1 million unpublished reasons. It is those who are devotees, those who are mature devotees, they have deep faith that whatever the Lord does is always perfect. The Lord teaches at many, many levels. In some pastimes, the Lord teaches the example of perfect behavior. In some examples, the Lord tries to teach no matter how good things are, things can still go wrong because this is the material world. Correct? Even in the Ram Rajya, there was one washerman.
Oh.
Correct? So, if Ramchandra, the point is, the lesson is, if Ramchandra, after being Ramchandra, with the topmost example of all perfect behavior, he and his wife, the most chaste, perfect woman, are still being judged and criticized. Then why are we getting upset that, oh, Prabhu, I did so much nice, why this person is speaking like this, that person is speaking like that? Isn't it? Huh? I'm just giving you one reason.
No,
Of course, I don't know
that's
all
true.
the reasons that the Lord. So these are things that I have heard, isn't it? Krishna is criticized for so many things even up to this day. Huh? There are many people who up to this day are defending Ravan. Ravan was right. Ravan was. I was just I came across some YouTube short in which one person was arguing, oh, Ramchandra, actually Ravan was not wrong. Why? Because Ram was so cruel that he chopped off the nose of Shurpanka. Ravan was justified in abducting Sita. An Indian person, Hindu, is arguing like this with one spiritualist. So that is the nature of the world. So there may be so many reasons. The Lord is giving so many lessons. The whole pastime of the golden deer is also another wonderful example, right? Correct? It's a very beautiful verse that says, there was never ever any kind of golden deer. There is no such species as golden deer. Still, Sita got attracted to it. Still, Ramchandra went chasing to hunt a deer, which both of them should have known doesn't exist. Oh, alas, just see how helpless we become in front of fate. Now, of course, it's not that Sita and Ram are affected by fate, but the Lord is showing, sometimes situation and circumstances are so beyond us that sometimes we just lose good sense and end up creating problems for ourselves. That is the nature of the material world. So sometimes the Lord teaches us not only through his perfect example, but he also teaches us through some apparent mistakes. The Lord never makes mistakes, but at one level, it can be seen as a mistake. Right? In the sense, oh, how come the Lord did not know? In that sense. Okay, Prabhu. So, yeah, like that. Does it
Sure.
answer your question?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yeah, Virendra Ram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Tanut Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji very well narrated the pastimes. There were times where I felt that I was in the scenes the way you have narrated the beautiful pastimes. Some just sharing something I take away, and it is really important also from the example you gave from Mother Keikai's. We that Lord keeps an eye on us, and He knows whether we should get the credit or not. So I was realizing that we want to feel special or praised or want to stay in the focal point for everything we do, and we expect everyone around us to sort of give us the credit for that, but we never think about the Lord actually. So there are times where people around us may or may not know what exactly we are doing, but as you beautifully mentioned, that Lord keeps an eye on us and He knows whether we should get the credit or not. So I think that's a great lesson for me to take away, that whatever we are doing, He's keeping an eye on us. So yeah, we should I think put that thought to the rest, that people should praise me, or they should see what I'm doing.
Actually, if we are able to continue doing service sincerely, even when we are not being seen, appreciated, and even more so if we are being opposed, but still continuing, that's very great service. That the Lord will appreciate so much. Prabhu, it's not so difficult to do nice things when you are in full public view, isn't it? I mean, even the worst of politicians and criminals will be so nice, when people are making reels of their donations or what they're just creating PR and glorification for your. What is difficult? Huh? You are buying fame, isn't it? Are you actually doing charity? No. Are you actually doing service? No. You're just buying popularity. I mean, that is still nice. Others are not even doing that. That is still at least you are doing something good. But that's not such a high standard. That's why in the Shastra it is said, when a person glorifies one's own good deeds, he loses most of the credit. So whatever good we do, we should not go and tell, Prabhu, I did this, Prabhu, I gave this donation, I gave and did this. We should not take credit. When we take credit, when we promote our good seva, puja, dan, whatever, whether it is karma kanda or it is devotional service, if we brag about it, we lose the credits. Those who do quietly are very much appreciated, and those who do despite great opposition is even more appreciated. And those who do in such a way that even after doing great service with great sacrifice, they will be wrongly judged and criticized for all time to come. Those are the most difficult of services. So, I mean, we don't want to think we are like KKE or these are all. Most of us are in the stage that we need some encouragement and some appreciation. So it's good if we are at that level. We need some encouragement. We need some good kind words, isn't it? Most of us, for us, it will be encouraging and it will be good. Those who think it is not, if we were not getting any appreciation or any encouragement, it is not easy to continue. Unless we are actually so advanced that our faith and conviction in the Lord and the nourishment that we are getting is directly from the service itself. For that, one must be sufficiently advanced in Krishna consciousness, because that is not easy. So, but even as we recognize we need some encouragement in our current level, and devotees are encouraging, that is one good thing, because very rarely anyone here, the Lord has come personally and spoken some encouraging words. Suresh Prabhu, has the Lord come and said, Suraj, good. Tarun, very nice, keep it up. Sarva Lakshmi Mataji, you are doing such wonderful service. I'm so happy. Whoever. The Lord's encouragement, I mean, that may happen. It's not that it doesn't happen. There are devotees where the Lord, even among sadhakas, the Lord does interact and show personal appreciation. But that is exceptional. That is a small percentage of devotees that it may happen. But for the vast majority, we need that encouragement coming through the Lord's representatives, the devotees, who show their love, affection, appreciation. And that way we feel the Lord's reciprocation. But we have to know that we have to come higher and higher eventually. The point where whether we are appreciated, not appreciated, we are noticed, not noticed, we slowly work towards expecting lesser and lesser and giving more, and then the Lord will, then we will become more and more dear to the Lord. Okay, so anything else? Thank you so much. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Samaveta Gaura Bhakti. I will see you all on Tuesday. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Thank you,
Sridhar
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Virendra Ram, thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sridhar
Hare
Prabhu,
Krishna.
Sridevi Mataji, Archana ji,
Prabhuji, Hare
Tarun, Shalini Mataji, Puja Mataji, Sarva Lakshmi Mataji.